Welcome back to the sanctuary of the unspoken, anything you want. In the meticulously curated world of show business, silence is usually the currency of survival. Actors are trained to deflect, to smile through the questions, and to guard the fortress of their private lives with the vigilance of a soldier. But history, and human nature, teaches us that even the strongest fortress has a weakness. Sometimes, that weakness is a camera lens, other times, it is the betrayal of a close friend. But often, the most dangerous enemy of secrecy is the contents of a glass. Today, we are dissecting a moment of rupture. We are looking at what happens when the filter dissolves, when the professional mask slips, and when the raw, unfiltered desires of the heart spill out onto the table along with the empty bottles. We are talking about Emin Günenç, a man celebrated for his stoic discretion, who recently shattered his own code of silence during a night of revelry. In a state of vulnerability induced by the intimate hours of the night and the loosening grip of alcohol, Emin reportedly made a series of confessions regarding his rumored partner, İlsu Demirci. These were not the polite murmurs of a colleague, they were the desperate declarations of a man planning an escape. He spoke of suspending his career, of vanishing into the ether with the woman he loves, and he issued a defiant challenge to the world: no one can separate us. Before we analyze the validity of these drunken vows and the shockwaves they have sent through the industry, I must ask for your unwavering alliance. To ensure that our independent, in-depth storytelling continues to thrive, please verify that you are subscribed to anything you want. And for those among you who wish to be the true patrons of this channel, the guardians of detailed celebrity analysis, I invite you to click the join button below. Your support is the gravity that holds this universe together. Now, lower the lights and pour yourself a drink. We are about to step into the haze of the after-party. To understand the weight of these words, we must first set the stage. This was not a press conference under the harsh glare of studio lights, nor was it a red carpet interview where answers are rehearsed weeks in advance. The incident took place in the nebulous zone of a private party organized by a friend. A sanctuary of shadows where celebrities often mistakenly believe they are safe. It was deep into the night, during those hours when the boundaries between colleague and confidant begin to blur, and the guardrails of professionalism are dismantled by fatigue and celebration. Emin Günenç, usually the epitome of the guarded leading man, found himself under the heavy influence of the party's atmosphere. Witnesses from his close circle describe a transformation. The actor, known for his calculated responses, began to speak with a sincerity that was both disarming and dangerous. The alcohol acted as a truth serum, stripping away the layers of PR training and leaving behind only the man and his obsessions. In this vulnerable state, he did not shy away from the questions that have dogged him for months. Instead, he leaned into them, dragging the shadow of his love life into the unforgiving light of the room. The first bombshell to drop was a statement that reads less like a romantic plan and more like a desperate plea for freedom. Emboldened by his courageous attitude, a euphemism for the lack of inhibition that comes with intoxication, Emin articulated a desire that shocked his listeners. He stated, unequivocally, "We want to suspend my work with İlsu for a while and disappear." Let us unpack the psychology of this sentence. In an industry where visibility is oxygen, where actors fight tooth and nail to stay relevant and employed, expressing a desire to suspend work is tantamount to heresy. It suggests a level of burnout or a depth of passion that supersedes career ambition. Emin was painting a picture of a life lived in exile, a romantic fantasy where he and İlsu could exist without the cameras, the scripts, or the constant scrutiny. It implies that their relationship is currently suffocating under the weight of their public personas, and that the only way for it to survive is to sever the cords that bind them to the industry. It is the classic runaway fantasy, spoken with the slur of a man who is tired of performing for an audience. If the first statement was escapist, the second was combative. Amidst the haze of the party, Emin reportedly issued a warning to the universe: no one can separate us. This phrase has confused İlsu, confused the fans, and confused the media. Why? Because it implies a threat. You only declare that no one can separate you if you feel that someone, or something, is trying to do exactly that. Is he fighting against the industry? Against disapproving families? Or perhaps against the internal pressures of the relationship itself? This drunk confession transformed their narrative from a simple will they won't they rumor into a dramatic saga of forbidden love or besieged romance. It suggests us against the world mentality that fans had not previously attributed to them. By uttering these words, Emin has inadvertently confirmed that the stakes of this relationship are incredibly high enough to warrant a drunken, defensive manifesto in the middle of a party. We have all heard the phrase in vino veritas. In wine, there is truth. But we also know that alcohol can make us dramatic and promise things we can't deliver. I want to turn the floor over to you, the Anything You Want community. Do you think Emin's drunken words are his true feelings coming to the surface, or just the exaggerated talk of a partying actor? Do you think they will actually disappear? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And remember, hitting the like button helps us continue to bring you these deep dives. For those who want to support our detailed storytelling directly, the join button awaits. To understand why this confession is so volatile, we must look at the history of Emin Günenç and İlsu Demirci. They are not strangers, they are collaborators. They came together through multiple projects, forging a close friendship in the fires of production. For a long time, the official line has been friendship, despite the persistent allegations of love that have occupied the agenda. Emin's confession has effectively torched the just friends defense. You do not plan to disappear with a friend. You do not declare that no one can separate us about a casual colleague. This admission has validated the suspicions of the fanbase who have long claimed that the chemistry on screen was bleeding into reality. However, it also raises questions about the stage of their relationship. Are they secretly a committed couple plotting an exit strategy? Or was this the unrequited, drunken longing of a man who wants more than he currently has? The ambiguity is maddening, and it is precisely what keeps the gossip mill turning. The most fascinating aspect of this story is the inevitable morning after. When the sun rose and the sobriety returned, Emin Günenç woke up to a world where his private thoughts were public property. The debate now raging in the tabloid world is how seriously we should take the statements of a man under the influence. Skeptics argue that alcohol talk is cheap, it is full of grandiosity and emotion that evaporates with the hangover. They suggest that the plan to suspend work was just the exhaustion speaking, a temporary wish rather than a concrete plan. However, romantics argue that alcohol merely lowers the drawbridge, allowing the truths that are usually guarded to march out. They believe that Emin revealed his soul, showing us exactly what he values most: İlsu, and a life away from the noise. And where does İlsu Demirci stand in this narrative? The report notes that Emin confused İlsu and us with his statements. This implies that perhaps she was not part of this grand plan to disappear until she heard about it through the grapevine. It places her in a precarious position. Is she the willing partner in this great escape, or is she the object of an intense affection that is becoming public in a messy way? Her reaction will be the true barometer of this situation. If she distances herself, we will know it was just drunk talk. But if she stands by him, or if we see them retreating from the spotlight together, we will know that the whiskey was merely the messenger for a plan that had been brewing for a long time. And so, we are left to sift through the wreckage of a party that ended, but a conversation that has just begun. Emin Günenç, in a moment of liquid courage, has given us a glimpse into a heart that yearns for privacy and permanence with İlsu Demirci. Whether these were the ramblings of a tired actor or the manifesto of a man in love, only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the world of magazines will not let this go easily. We will be watching to see if they truly try to disappear, or if the machine of the industry pulls them back in. Thank you for exploring this fascinating slip of the mask with us on Anything You Want. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please leave a comment. What is the wildest thing you've ever confessed at a party? Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update on this unfolding drama. And to our Join members, thank you for making this channel possible. Until next time, drink responsibly and guard your secrets. Goodbye.